We're also going to have time for questions at the end, so if any pop up for you, just hold on to them and we'll get to you at the end. But a good place to start, I think, is always at the start. So I'm curious about the origin story of the book, because I know often with an illustrated book, the words come first and then the photos come after, and it's kind of making the words look good with photos. But I understand yours is a little bit different.
Yes, so I'll take this one, because I know you're not going to toot your own trumpet, but let's just say this book started with Roberto's photographs. So it was absolutely amazing how chatty these pictures were for me, with me and for me. As you will see when you open the book, Roberto's photographs are evocative, they're sumptuous, they're full of story and life, and within the photographs you can sense an intimacy with nature and an appreciation for the natural world, for little details in daily life, for the visceral sensory fullness of being alive, being a human being on earth. And I think it goes without saying there was such a synergy between the illustrations, between the words, between the photographs. As this book came together, it was so organic. The photographs really were the launching pad. Each of the small pieces of writing, I was originally referring to them as essays, but that sounded very serious, and so we sort of started calling them reflections or observations or meditations, trying to find the right, vernacular for what are we doing here with this kind of prose. But essentially it was to honour the photographs to the best of my ability, and also with your blessing too. I said to you earlier, Monique, it's sort of, when an art historian or an art theorist is waxing lyrical about a painting and they've completely missed the heartfelt, intention of the artist. It's like, well, that's so important that we discuss, we discuss that.
You definitely capture in words even more than what I could possibly say, but with the photo, there's nothing quite like a photo to capture a moment. But you need, and you can feel that moment, but you need someone special like Meredith to actually put that in words that then we can all relate to, and that's what you do amazingly.
Well, thanks, Amore. I think the joy was being able to, allowing the picture to speak, and then discussing the philosophy, discussing the idea together, building it out, thinking how is this message of value to us all? Because this book is not just something beautiful to look at, it's very much a resource, and that's what I endeavour to do with my books, to create books that you can refer to for inspiration, for guidance, for support, for comfort. These are very interactive books, and so really the message, yes, the philosophy, it's beautiful to engage with that, but how is this implementable? How is it accessible? How is it user-friendly? How are people going to come to it and then take from it to live a richer life, to feel more satisfied, to feel more joy? And as the subtitle suggests, it's about finding peace and joy in the present moment. So really our focus is, and always will be, both in book form and in our own daily lives, peace and joy are very, very important for us, and that's essentially where the message has come from.
Yes, and I love that I know every single page of this book, there's like 10 things you want to go out and try straight away. It's like, oh, okay. How important was it to make it practical, like to actually give people those tools to go out and do this?
Oh.
Well, can I just say, when I was proofreading the works, I could see that the concepts are they're timeless. They're ancient wisdom. There's a lot of ancient wisdom here, but Meredith is she's a natural born teacher. So the way you write it's in a way that's accessible for you. Just pick it up, and like you say, you just want to try these different things because they're not complicated.
It's not complicated. This is one of my favourite things to say. I say it at least once a day. And it's also, for me, therapeutic to say it's not complicated, because sometimes we can actively, wittingly, mostly unwittingly, completely overcomplicate everything. our lives, our thought processes, our relationships, our schedules, our home life. I feel so much peace and comfort when I think of simplification, paring things back, really looking at, okay, how can we live our best life? How can we enjoy life to the fullest in achievable, relatable, joyous? Again, he said the word fun, so important. Because when we start also to take ourselves too seriously, things go pear-shaped. For the most part anyway. So it's really about, so to your point, it was absolutely essential that this book was relevant and was brimming with actionable inspiration. So, and you pointed to it too in your introduction. This is a needed book at this time and in this place. I think we all know the burnout trajectory where we're just going and going and going, and we start feeling it. We're feeling a bit frayed. We're a bit compromised. We know that the inner ding is going off, that we need to stop or slow down or do things differently. And sometimes it's sometimes easier to just keep on going than to really interrupt yourself and say, okay, this I need an intervention with myself right now. These are the things that I need to look at, A, B, C. And the good thing is, intuitively, some people doubt me, but when they do this exercise, they always eat their words. We always know what we need. Intuitively, we always know what we need. We forget to ask. Sometimes we don't honour ourselves enough, but we know what we need. So when that moment of intervention comes, if we ask ourselves in humility and sincerity, what is it that I need to change now? What is it that I need to see? What is it that I need to do? We know the answer. We always know the answer. And so there's that moment when we let that land, and once we see it, we can't unsee it. It's then what we choose to do. And this book is, along with my other books, is just about equipping you, equipping us, and myself too. I really take a leaf out of what I do. I live by it. Equipping ourselves to be able to transform when that moment comes, when, remaining, as Anais Nin wrote, remaining tightly held as a bud is no longer feasible. You've got to blossom. You've got to, that's that moment of transformation. And I'm a firm believer in all of us being able to transform as people at every juncture, at every turn of life. And there's a lot about the different seasons of life and our inner seasons, and it's in there in lots of different ways. And that's something that you've captured so beautifully in photography too, through your photographic artistry, is that with a connection to seasons and the movement in nature, that you've been able to show that there's a time to hold on, there's a time to let go, there's a time to blossom, there's a time to nestle in. And these feelings, these emotions are captured in the photographs, and we can learn, as Emerson taught us, we can learn so much by observing and appreciating and respecting our natural world. And that's why this book brims with references to the natural world and our experience as human beings, living as part of nature, within nature.